History is rarely written in the moments of our triumph. It's etched instead in the quiet spaces left behind. In 1867, the Texas coast did not just smell of salt and cedar, it carried the weight of a silence. Here, at the edge of the bay, a sanctuary was raised. They called it Bayland. The first to cross the threshold were sisters, Cynthia Anna and Rebecca Allen. They arrived from the dust of Grimes County, two small figures against the vastness of the bay. They were the first drops of a coming flood, a tide of children orphaned not just by war, but by the yellow jack, the fever that stalked the humid Texas summer. Here, the doctors Ashbel Smith and Henry Gillette did not just offer a roof. They offered a promise that even in a broken land, no child would walk the path of sorrow alone. Hope is a fragile thing in the wake of war, but in 1867 it took the shape of timber and stone. Under the leadership of men like Frederick Rice, the promise wasn't just spoken, it was built. They called it Bayland, a name meant to sound like a harbor, a place where the storm of the late rebellion could finally be left at the shore. Imagine the first boys arriving. They didn't just bring their few belongings, they brought the silence of fatherless homes from every corner of Texas. Here, at Morgan's Point, the sage observes that the promise was simple. You will have a bed, you will have a book, and you will have a future that doesn't smell of gunpowder. But a promise in the Texas wilderness is a heavy thing to carry. The salt air that promised healing also brought the fever, and the soil that promised plenty demanded a sweat equity that few children should ever know. The sanctuary was open, but the struggle was only just beginning. Beyond the rows of corn and the dusty fields, a different kind of cultivation was taking place. Inside the wooden walls of the Goose Creek home, the Bayland scholars traded their hoes for slates. Education was the true liberation for these orphans. In a Texas still reeling from chaos, the home provided a rare luxury, a curriculum. Here, the children studied the classics and mathematics, preparing for a world that had been turned upside down. It was a quiet defiance against the poverty that chased them, the belief that a sharp mind was the only thing the war couldn't take away. Every sanctuary needs a guardian, and for Bayland, that was Kezia de Pelchin. She arrived not with riches, but with a relentless spirit. As the matron, she was the bookkeeper, the nurse, and the surrogate mother to dozens. Her journals are the heartbeat of this era, recording the price of flour alongside the temperature of a feverish child. While the founders provided the land, Kezia provided the love, turning a cold institution into a living, breathing family. She saw the 254 counties of Texas not as a map, but as a future her babies would one day lead. Every great Texas legend has a turning point, and for the Bayland orphans, that turn led them from the salt air of the coast to the piney woods of Woodland Heights. But the transition to the bustling streets of Houston wasn't without its trials. In 1914, disaster struck in the form of a devastating
The whole
fire
warehouse
that
is going up.
leveled the Bayland
Is everyone
Avenue
out?
home. It was a moment that could have ended the story, but instead, it forged a new path toward Bel Air, proving that a home is built of more than just wood and brick. The heart of Harris County isn't found in its skyscrapers, but in the stories of those it protected. The Bayland Orphans Home stands as a testament to that spirit. Born out of the aftermath of the Civil War, it began as a refuge on the shores of San Jacinto Bay, providing a sanctuary for children who had lost everything. Even as the home moved from the salt air of Morgan's Point to the growing woods of Houston, its mission never wavered. It was more than just a shelter. It was a promise that no child would be left to wander alone in the vastness of Texas. When we look at the history of the Bayland orphans, we see the true character of this county. It's a story of endurance from the early days of farming the land to the fires that tested their resolve. This is Harris County number 101 of 254. The sage knows, and now so do you. Follow me at the Sage 254 for more.